What's up everybody, it's Benjamin Cjbeards bringing you another LEGO video with today a mock inspired by the Border Ambush set 8778 from the Knights Kingdom 2 line. Along with some fan fiction, Border Ambush was another one of those sets that I never owned, but that certainly drew my attention back in the good old LEGO days. So I started with the original design in studio and then changed the colors to better match the Shadow Knight that the original set belongs to. But because it was still too basic, I decided to fully overhaul the design with a ton of new details whilst keeping the play features as you'll see in a moment. Let's start at the front section, which is slightly larger now. Improved the stairs with masonry bricks, behind which we'll find a classic skeleton that I definitely prefer over the newer version. The skeleton is accompanied by a lantern and a dark blue scorpion for a bit of contrast. I added a window on either side, so this one and the Lion Knight's castle, and the other one is improvised. Moving up the stairs we'll find the first play feature, taken from the original set, a boulder that can be launched by a minifigure. It makes a great use of this soccer stand that comes with a built-in spring. You simply pull it back and let go. And there's some aiming involved, both in terms of the direction, but also how far you pull it back. Definitely one of the more unique play features with a cool part usage, so there was no need to change it. In fact, I even kept the distance from the launcher to the other side of the bridge exactly the same, to ensure that it works just like the original. The boulder did change color to this lovely speckle black silver, which is another one of those oddly specific colors that is no longer in production. The plant is still there, I simply added another one because it's a neat part usage. The leaves must be heat resistant though, because down below we arrive at a major change compared to the original set. A lava river with snot building techniques. You're looking at the side of a ton of red bricks stacked on top of one another and then connected to the base plate with headlight bricks. This city certainly did not come falling out of the sky, because here we have what is probably the worst quality photo I ever uploaded on this channel. If you look closely you'll see a vague impression of a lava river that uses the same technique. This photo was taken on September 7th in 2013. I wish I had the camera and photo skills I have now back then. In any case, the lava river in this build is a personal throwback to the good old LEGO days, when I really dove into snot building for the first time. Just like then I've opted to use red, but if you want to increase the level of detail you can add more solid colors or transparent ones. And with a little extra effort you might even be able to add lights underneath. I did include a little trans neon orange because it's an awesome color that is unfortunately also discontinued. To cross the lava river there is once again a rope bridge that comes to the rescue, nearly identical to the original, just recolored. And then we arrive at the main structure, and this is where the most changes happened, even though the base is still 10x10 studs. I definitely wanted to maintain the original footprint of the set as much as possible, so not make it much larger. For the base I actually reverted the dark bluish grey back to the discontinued dark grey, because this is one of those instances where I think it honestly looks a lot better than the bluish variant. In fact, I'm curious if I'm the only one who prefers the old dark grey over the new one. I think there's enough difference between the two to the point where they each fulfill their own purpose. Dark bluish grey feels more modern and clean, while the old dark grey is a lot more realistic, and I think this photo nicely demonstrates that. Not to mention that the bluish tone does not mix well with all the red in this model. Moving up we arrive at the entrance. Here is the original, and here is my version, recolored and with an epic scorpion statue on top that I shamelessly stole for my Staff of Ataka mock from a few years ago. I did reinforce the top. I thought about adding a roof but settled for this pointy setup to keep things accessible. Directly behind the entrance is something that was also in the original set, a key. This time in the discontinued color Chrome Antique Brass. There's a lot of discontinued colors in this build. In any case, I never understood the significance of the key in the Knights Kingdom story because, as far as I'm aware, it never made a return after Border Ambush. In my build it does unlock something, more about that later. For now there are two axes flanking the key and a double lattice window on the left. I always wanted to combine two of them this way. And now I finally found a way to do it using a combination of bars and the round plates with holes in them. Now that we're on the outside anyway, let's continue from there with a ton of dark red pyramids for spiky windows. Love how those turned out. Some shrubbery on top and a bar that can be pulled out which triggers a trapdoor. The original set had one and I decided to keep it but make it stronger. The part you pull out is rather long, but it does mean that the entire trapdoor is supported. And I definitely prefer it that way. If you fall down you end up in the dungeon, where once your eyes are adjusted to the darkness you'll see a tiling pattern on the floor and a treasure chest, but before we can understand what's inside, we must first read the book on top. Once upon a time, the Scorpion King lived a happy life with his beloved wife Felina. Together, they led an army of Scorpion Knights, conquering lands and treasure along the way. Then one day, fate struck and Felina fell ill, and it wasn't long before she passed away. Devastated by the loss, the king turned to magic in an attempt to bring back his wife. He ordered his most trusted knights, Vladek and his brother Dalek, to search for the best wizard the land had to offer. During their travels, Vladek lost his brother before running into the powerful wizard Callisto. A long time ago, he was friends with another wizard named Magisto until Callisto betrayed him and turned to dark magic. Vladek asked Callisto if he could revive the dead, hoping to get his brother back along the way. But Callisto demanded payment. Together they returned to the castle, where the Scorpion King didn't care about Vladek's fallen brother. All he wanted was for the wizard to revive his wife, no matter the price. Callisto settled for the treasure and casted a spell on Felina's grave. Initially, nothing happened and the wizard stated that he needed to do more research. Until later that night, he vanished when the Scorpion Queen returned from the grave. She quickly made her way to the Scorpion King, who was so horrified at what his wife had become that he ordered his guards to kill her. But soon he found himself all alone, staring at the immortal, hollow eyes of what was once his lover. And from that day forward, they would haunt him wherever he went. Riddled with bitterness and regret, he ran away and Vladek took control of his castle and remaining army. The king locked everything that reminded him of his wife in a chest, vowing to open it only on the day he found a way to set Felina free. But until then, no matter how far he ran, the Scorpion Queen's shadow was never far behind. So, how will the story end? Will the Scorpion King succeed in lifting the curse? Will he take his revenge on the wizard in an epic duel? Or will he need Magisto for that? Well, I leave that up to you to decide. As usual, if you want to recreate this build, you can find the studio file and part list for free via the link in the description below. You can of course also change the color scheme in case you prefer a lighter tone. But that's it for this video. If you made it all the way to the end, I want to thank you very much for watching and listening to the fanfiction. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you next time when a new idea washes up on the shore of a golden beach.